All right. Well, good morning, everyone. Thomas Montgomery. We get together most weekday mornings at this time, 8 o'clock Central, talk about strategies, tips, techniques, share success stories, and support each of you. Today is Thursday, September 19th, 2024. We welcome 212 of you so far this morning. It's a small group, but that's okay. Welcome, everyone. We're going to talk about financial literacy. And of course, a big part of what we do as a 501c3 nonprofit is build financial literacy, because there's a lot of people that want money, that need money, but they're not fundable, and they don't even know what it means to be fundable. And so that's a big part of, if you're one of our distribution partners, that's a significant part of what we do, is to educate. Because if they're not educated about what it means to be fundable, then why would they want our help to become fundable? There's many analogies I can give. I'll just give a personal one. So I think you all know I have stage 4 cancer. So can you imagine if I wouldn't have been diagnosed with cancer when the doctor recommended that I start having treatments every 3 weeks at $20,000 a treatment, that I would have said, oh yeah, that sounds like a good idea. No, there needs to be a reason for someone to want to do something. Well, the problem that you and I have in our world is most people are not financially literate. It's not their fault. Our school systems failed them. We just don't properly train people to be entrepreneurs as a society. So here comes you and I, kind of the knights in shining armor. We educate people for free. We educate them for free, and that's partially because it's our mission, but also that provides a really nice conduit for individuals who want to work with you in the fee-based 4-week funding program. So I'm sharing a screen just to back up. So I'm on 509. We'll just go to the homepage. So 509 Pacific, and then we're going over to the Entrepreneurship Funding Program. This is where that free curriculum resides. Now, normally what we're encouraging each of you to do, and many of you are doing it, is to set up a workshop. Now, one workshop means it's teaching a cohort of people. So workshop means going through all 4 weeks. Cohort, C-O-H-O-R-T, means a group of people that go through it together. So in other words, everyone that enrolls that's in week 1, they'll be in the same group in week 2 and week 3 and week 4. But we have many cohorts. So for example, AJ has a workshop. So he has a group of people going through the 4 weeks. And then you got Bernard, he has a different group of people going through. So there's multiple workshops going on. And we like to set up at least one workshop with you per month, because it's really nice to be able to funnel your prospects into the free education. So again, there's trust, there's relevance built. But today's topic is a little bit different than that. It is the fact that, well, I guess we're taking it from the top. So the Free Entrepreneurship Funding Program, which is what we're showing here, is a free curriculum developed to prepare small business owners to understand what it takes to be fundable and apply the knowledge in their business. So I shouldn't have skipped this as I started to. The world doesn't need another YouTube video. No offense. What it needs is help providing the knowledge and then applying the knowledge, because that's how people become fundable. Is they know what they need to know, but they still are almost always going to need help. Like you could Google how to do a root canal, but you'd probably still want to work with a dentist to do the actual procedure, right? So it's not that you and I are working our way out of a job by teaching people, but instead we're increasing the size of the funnel of people that want to work with you. Hopefully that makes sense. So there are 4 weekly topics. We've invited you, we've encouraged you to go through these. Some of you have, some of you haven't. Some of you've gone through, like some of them, like Frederick. Frederick was on week 1, but I think Frederick might have missed week 2 and he wasn't on week 3. But life happens, I understand. So with that being said, we normally are teaching a topic a week over 4 weeks. The reason that that's set up, and I'm being a bit redundant, but it's really important that you get it. Why do we approach it this way? Because certainly we could just get a group of people together and in just 2 hours blast through all the education, just knock out the education. But that's not really what works, right? What works is let's teach them about what it takes to have a fundable business plan and then help them have one. Let's teach them about what it takes to have a business that's formed correctly, and then let's apply that. Let's tell them about what it means to have a credible business in the 3 C's, but then let's apply that. So that's why it's normally broken into 4 weeks, is so we can teach and then we have a chance to apply it. So guess what? By the end of the 4th week, we're ready to go to funding. All right, let's pull the notes back up here. So we do have some individuals here on the agenda that want more of a self-study approach. They want access to the material. They don't want to wait once a week, or maybe the weekly sessions aren't convenient for them. So you'll notice as of today, for the first 3 weeks, there are links, and that allows individuals to go right into the curriculum. So let's go ahead and we'll go to business credibility. That was our week 3 topic we had for our general cohort yesterday. So if we click here and get started, I'll pause it because the point's not to go through it, but then we jump right into it. So what you can see is that we're allowing those that want to take more of a self-study approach, they can access the material for the first 3 weeks. We won't be doing that for week 4. Week 4 is too individualized to the individual participant. But for the first 3 weeks, that's available on demand. So what's the takeaway from that? Is it just nice to know? Well, no, it's more than that. So if you've not gone through the 3 weeks, if you've not gone through the curriculum, at least the first 3 weeks, certainly now you can do so at the convenience of your schedule. You don't even have to register for one of the classes. The benefit of going through the class, the registered workshop, that is it allows us to A, answer questions because it's a live session, and then B, we're working with the participants who have registered to apply it. So we don't just teach people, because what happens if someone just goes and clicks on this video about the business plan? Good information, relevant. You and I need people to know that because it makes us more valuable. So that's fine. But just by clicking on any of these links, while they'll be able to watch the session, it doesn't include the assistance to apply that knowledge. So with that being said, if you've not gone through these sessions, I encourage you to do so. And then we're continuing to set up workshops with each of you. There's no cost to do so. We've hired a workshop coordinator. That's her focus. She's going to be out half of today and Friday, but she'll be back in Monday. So our workshop coordinator's here to help you get the butts in the seats and promote it. I mean, it's working really well for those of you who have involved yourself in that process. So with that being said, simple topic, update. As of today, on the Entrepreneurship Program page, we have added links to on demand for the first 3 sessions. We don't plan on doing that for the 4th session. So the first 3 are there. There are significant differences. Again, I want to make sure we're aware, because let's take Jeff, who's on the line. And Jeff might say, well, wait, I was getting ready to set up a workshop with a church or a chamber. Now that's not needed. No, that's not true at all. We still want to work with hosts, influencers, churches, chambers, CPAs, business groups, co-working spaces. And then we set up a workshop, which again, a workshop means the composite of all 4 weeks. We co-brand it to that host, and then it's only that host sphere of influence that apply. We're working with you on that. We'll teach it, so you don't have to teach it. But the benefit is you get all the conversions, because what do we know? What do we know? And I guess we can add it to the agenda here. Conversions. On average, 91% of the, we'll call it, quote, workshop which means going through those 4 sessions. 91% of the workshop participants will enroll with the white label partner in their 4-week funding program. Now, if that seems conflicting, it's like, well, why, Tom? If they just gone through all 4 weeks, why would they come back to you as the white label partner enroll? Because the 4-week funding program, which we can bring up here to make sure that we're all. So the 4-week funding program is different but complementary of the free education. The free education helps us create an educated prospect pool, builds trust, builds relevance. But the 4-week business funding program includes a lot of the tools and resources to enact that. So, for example, we're actually building out their business plan versus just teaching them about it. For instance, we're actually providing them a business address rather than just telling them, oh, by the way, you do need to have an address. It's providing, we actually file, we pay for, the grant pays for the filing with the Secretary of State. We actually do that when they're in your 4-week funding program. Here, we're telling them about that. So you can see it's not bait and switch. It's just, this is free, right? So free, they learn what they need to do. This is kind of a do-it-yourself. And then this is the done for you option. So white label partners can facilitate workshops, as we've talked about. And then as we had on those notes before I got rid of them, on average, about 9 out of 10 of the people that go through the free education will then turn around and enroll with you. Well, why is it so high, or why would anyone do it? Well, it's because there's the application of the knowledge, right? We don't just think about having a business plan, we need one. We don't just think about having a business address, we need one. We don't just think about having an entity like a LLC, S Corp, C Corp. If we don't have one, we need one. We don't just talk about having collateral. Here, we're actually providing them 10 grand of collateral. So this is the application of the learning. Not bait and switch. People can go through the do-it-yourself, learn, and if they want to go do it on their own, that's fine. And we know about 1 out of 10 or about 9% of people specifically will. That's fine. They've learned. It's been a positive experience. I don't think any business has a 100% conversion rate. But the great news is about 9 out of 10 of those individuals that go through the education will turn around and enroll with you. So that's where white label partners make money. Participants will pay you as a white label partner a refundable deposit, which you pick how much that is. So you can't say, oh, it's too much or too little. We've talked about split pricing. So for as little as $500, they can sign up for this. We do a 50-50 split with you. So you're putting half in your pocket right now. We get the other half. We do the work. So that's the beauty of our relationship. We're doing a 50-50 split, but we do the work. So who teaches these workshops? We do. You don't have to. Oh, well, who advises the clients between the sessions to apply what they've learned? We do. You don't have to. Oh, well, who's going to take clients if they enroll in the fee-based program? Who's going to work with them through all this? We will. You don't have to. So it's a great model. We do a 50-50 split. You generate the relationship. We'll educate them. We'll help you convert them if they want to, not strong arming them. And then you're making on average $11,000 for each person that enrolls. Where does the $11,000 come from? Well, that's a combination of the money up front. Now, I already told you, you get to pick how much you charge for the 4-week funding program as a white label partner. Most of you are charged, well, let's go ahead and put that on the sheet. So white label partners earn on average $11,000 per enrollment. So where does that come from? So normally you're charging a $2,000 refundable deposit when they enroll in the 4-week program. Now, if that's too much or too little, you can change it, right? We still split it 50-50. We can do what we call split billing for just $500. So theoretically, they could get in for $500. That puts $250 in your pocket, $250 in our pocket, we implement, and then they pay the rest after they finish. It's called a net 30. Well, that doesn't add up to 11,000, right? Well, of course. So the balance of it is from the performance fee. You pick what the performance fee as a white label partner is. A performance fee means like a success fee. That's the amount that the client pays after they've been funded, And so you pick what that is. The average range is 10% to 20%. So, this is where the math comes to play. But frankly, this will all take care of itself. You making money, frankly, you shouldn't have to worry about that. But what we should be focused on is how do we educate people? Because if we can drive people into the education, that will create the demand for the program, because we're helping them become fundable. Here, we're teaching them what it means to be fundable. Here, we're actually applying the tools and resources to make it happen. And while there is a refundable deposit, which you pick, 2,000 as the average, it is refundable. So it goes back to them. So who has questions on what we've discussed? Let me pull the agenda back up. Who has questions on what we've discussed regarding the on-demand, questions about the workshops? So a couple of you over the past day or two have submitted the request for the workshop. So we're in the process of getting those processed. If you don't feel like we're moving fast enough, that's fine. Just give us a call and we'll prioritize you. But essentially, if you want to host a workshop, that means we're going to set up a workshop, which means these 4 sessions, and we'll create the registration page, free to you, no charge. So people will go to your registration page, they'll register, and then, so they wouldn't register here because this is for the general one, kind of the at large. So instead, you'll have a different page where they register into your 4-week program. In a perfect world, as we mentioned, we want to work with key influencers like churches or chambers to be able to drive people in. You don't have to, but that helps you get more participants. And then you'll send us your logo if you want it co-branded. And then you'll let us know the day in the week that you want to start the class, because the class is going to follow the same pattern, same day of the week for the subsequent week, same time of the day. So for example, if you said, oh, I want to start my class next Monday at 9 a.m., great, we set that up, then well, this will be a week later, the following Monday at 9 a.m. and so forth. Some of you have this inclination, well, I want to get started right away. Well, you remember, we need a little bit of time to get your registration page set up, and it's free, so I'm not charging anything for that. But then you're going to need to promote it, right? We're going to need to have time for you to reach out to people for them to enroll. So normally you would schedule it at least a week out, but we can do it as you wish. And then as it ties back to what we covered today, there are the on-demand modules. So what we've done in the past is let's take AJ. So let's say AJ sets up a workshop. He has 23 people register, but only 18 show up, 5 miss class. Well, we send the recording out to everyone, as well as the tools and resources relevant to that class. So it's never been a problem in the past. If someone missed, we would send them the recording afterwards. Now they frankly have the option to be able to access it even before the scheduled class if they prefer. The big difference is when we're doing a workshop with you, it's co-branded, right? So let's say we're having one with Corinthian, who's on the line. So I forget the name of her company. Let's say it's James Financial Strategies. I don't remember. But so if we're having it with James Financial Strategies, then it's co-branded with her. These here, of course, are generic because these are standard recordings, not specific to your branding. That would be the disadvantage. Okay, so if anyone has questions, comments, concerns, type it into the Q&A box. It's like a chat box. Steve, I see you have one. Go ahead and type it in. I think someone else had one just a moment ago. So any questions, comments, concerns, type it into the Q&A. We will address it. But at least what you should take away from today, at least, is if you've not seen what we teach in module 1 and module 2 and module 3, or week 1, 2, and 3, the same, then it's real easy for you to go do so. But this doesn't substitute the benefit of going through the live classes, because the live classes, A, allow for interaction, and B, then we're applying what we've learned. Here you can learn, but that frankly doesn't create a fundable business. What creates a fundable business is learn and then apply, learn and then apply, learn and then apply. Okay, any questions, comments, concerns anyone has? Of course, you can reach out to us individually. Our workshop coordinator will be out most of today and Friday, so that will throw a little bit of glitch into the system, but we'll do everything we can until she comes back to keep the wheels turning. She'll be able to keep you abreast. For instance, who was it that just set up? Toby, maybe? Toby, are you online? Toby's not on today. Toby usually is, but I think it was Toby. He worked with our workshop coordinator. I'm pulling from memory, set up a new workshop. We just set it up yesterday. And if I recall, he's already had 9 people register. So that's good. Day 1, already 9 people registered. There's no minimums. There's no maximums. But the key is we need to get it out there. And if we have one person, it'd be great. Normally our Zoom has capacity up to 500. Periodically, we have to bump that up if it's a bigger group, but normally we try to keep it below 500, and we'll normally close it at 500. But of course, you'd want to register too, so it'd be you plus 499 people. And yes, to Herman or anyone else to reach us, give us a call or email us, and we can help you. Once you have a workshop set up, then you'll be working with the workshop coordinator. We have one right now. We plan on hiring additional ones. I'll close on this. We've talked about this in the past, but if you've ever researched, or if you're even just familiar with what Dave Ramsey has accomplished with Financial Peace University, Dave Ramsey, regardless of your opinion of him and his messages, that we're not here to evaluate the man, he is successful. I mean, he's generated hundreds of millions of dollars teaching financial literacy at the grassroots level. That's exactly what you and I are doing, but what we're doing is business financial literacy. So it's a different topic set that it's a wide open field. There's, to the best of my knowledge, no one is filling this need, this gap. There's a problem of a lack of business financial literacy, and you and I have the opportunity to fill that gap, and you can monetize it. So going back to the conversions, and I think this is what Pauline is asking for me to do, and I hate to give income projections because who knows what each workshop will generate for you, but on average for each workshop. So the first variable is how many people register, right? And there's no minimum, there's no maximum, other than we tried to not go above 500 because it messes with our Zoom account. But let's just say the average workshop is 10 people. Usually it's much larger, but let's just say 10. And so then we know that on average, 9 will convert, which means that they'll go from the free over to your fee-based program. Well, if you do that simple math and you're making right about 11,000 per conversion, times 9, and tell me, Pauline, if this is what you're asking for me to do. I mean, it's a pretty simple math equation. We would project for each workshop that you facilitate, you should make around 100,000. So does it get rich quick? No. Does it happen all at once? Do you say, hey, let's do a workshop, and all of a sudden you got 100,000 in your bank account tomorrow? Of course not. First, we need to set up the workshop. If you need help setting up a workshop, call us or email us so we can do that. I see some of you asking. Greg's asking about it. Herman's asking about it. Here's how to do it. Call us or email us. So once we set up the workshop, for free. Again, there's no charge to you, no charge to the participants. Then we'll get the registration page set up. But your job, your role is to get the word out. the most effective, the most efficient way to get the word out, we've said many times, is not just you trying to go find individuals. You could do that, but that's not the model. The model, just like Dave Ramsey, is to go to key influencers, churches, chambers, CPAs, bookkeepers, loan brokers, people or entities or organizations that have a sphere of influence of small business owners. And so then we co-brand with them. They promote it out to their sphere of influence. And then all of a sudden, instead of 10 people, we might have 100 people. And if we have 100 people, we don't expect 9 to convert. We expect 90. And then when you change this mathematical formula to add a 0 to it, it's fucking huge, right? And this is how Dave Ramsey has made hundreds of millions of dollars. He goes out and he teaches financial literacy, consumer financial literacy, and then he has a bunch of add-ons. You can go buy, use his real estate affiliation, or you can use his affiliated insurance company to buy term insurance policies. That's not who we are, what we do. What we do is we educate for free where he charges. So we have an advantage, distinct strategic advantage. We educate for free. And then now we have an educated audience that realize, yeah, I don't have a fundable business. I want to have funding. I need to get a fundable business. And 9 out of 10 will then sign up, especially understanding that we have the split billing available so we can break that down where they can get started for as little as 500, which again, it's a 50-50 split. So it puts 250 in your pocket. All right. So with that being said, if you want a workshop, starts with me. You and I have to have our first conversation. Before you go to the workshop coordinator, you and I are going to make sure we have our ducks in order, as they say. Once we have our ducks in order, and there's no cost to you, no strings attached, then we need to go ahead and pick the date, get the logo, and get it set up. So you got our number. It's the same as on here, right? Hasn't changed. Phone number, email. Go back to it. Phone number, email, hasn't changed. See, it matches. All right, with that being said, let's go out and let's educate people, let's help people, and from that, you can monetize it. You can help people and make Dave Ramsey type of money. There's nothing wrong with helping people solve their problems. All right, have a great day. We'll see you back tomorrow morning. Bye-bye.